Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I am Rachit, and in this series, we talk about the various mental models that you could use to become more productive in your life. In the video today, we talk about the Dunning-Kruger effect. The Dunning-Kruger effect occurs when a person's lack of knowledge and skill in a certain area cause them to overestimate their own competence. On the other side, this effect also causes those who excel in a given area to think the task is simple for everyone and underestimate their relative abilities as well. Albert Einstein once famously said, "The more I learn, the more I realize how much I don't know." Let's talk about why does this bias occur. Imagine you and your friends decide to try something new. Separately, you all start learning Spanish. Within a few days, you can say 10 to 15 sentences, but you're a bit disappointed and you believe you should be able to say more by now. To you, the language is quite simple, but having a good grip on it causes you to think it's simple for everyone and that therefore you should have done more. Your friend on the other side has learned just a few words. He's amazed by his progress. He doesn't yet have the knowledge and skills to know that he's actually pronouncing these words wrong and forming grammatically incorrect sentences with them. He learned the least in the group, but his lack of knowledge prevents him from understanding his own mistakes. Moreover, his lack of access to comparison causes him to overestimate his relative ability. His ignorance of how far others have come keeps him thinking he's excelling when he's actually learning at a below average speed. As a result of the Dunning-Kruger effect, you may not know what you are good at because you assume what comes easily to you also comes easily to everyone else. You are therefore robbed by the ability to spot your own specialities and talents. Moreover, when you excel at what is challenging to you, you might accidentally fall prey to the belief that that thing is where your talent lies. In reality, you may just be a below average performer. This effect can also cause you to become disappointed when your self-recognized talents are not recognized by others. Perhaps you expect an upcoming promotion and it goes to someone who is surprised to even be considered. It's not unlikely that your average performance had you thinking you were doing particularly well, while her expertise had her thinking she was average. Thinking you are better than you actually are can cause you to miss out on opportunities to learn from others who truly are more skilled and more knowledgeable. Furthermore, thinking you are average at something when you really have a great skill can cause you to miss opportunities to teach and spread knowledge to others. Let's talk about why it happens. The Dunning-Kruger effect is a bit of a catch-22 situation. People who don't know much about a subject don't have the knowledge or skills to spot their own mistakes or knowledge gaps. Because of these blind spots, they can't see where they are going wrong and they therefore assume they are doing great. On the other side, people who are at the top of their game in a certain subject area don't have the ability to notice their specialty because their work comes so naturally to them that they don't realize it's not this way for everyone. The ease with which they pick up these skills or knowledge areas blinds them to the fact that the work is more challenging for others. Rather than underestimating themselves, they overestimate everybody else's abilities. How to avoid it? When it comes to the Dunning-Kruger effect, comparing yourself to others might not be the worst thing you could do. You can avoid being ignorant of your own performance by listening and gaining insights from the performances of others. If your friend who knew only a few Spanish words had asked how the lessons were going for you, your response might clue him into the fact that he's not all that great at the language after all. Moreover, his poor pronunciation might show you that you actually have an unknown knack for languages. Simply knowing about the Dunning-Kruger effect can also help you mitigate its effects. Remember that thinking you are bad at something likely puts you in the middle of the pack because it means you have enough insight to recognize your own incompetencies. But remember, new levels, new devils. Also remember that if you know you are exceptional at something, you likely have a lot of learning to do. Lastly, you can avoid the Dunning-Kruger effect by being open to feedback, which is of course easier said than done. Low performers consistently do not receive criticism well and are chronically disinterested in self-improvement. Rather than brushing off feedback and constructive criticism, attribute the critique to your lack of knowledge and use it mindfully to move yourself forward. There's an old proverb, when arguing with a fool, make sure the other person isn't doing the same thing. On that note, I hope knowing about the Dunning-Kruger effect will help you gauge your knowledge and your skill sets better. I see you in the next video.